Hi, guys. Welcome to Politics with Sherry Jacobus. It's getting tight. The race is tight. I've seen some information and comments on Twitter and other places where when somebody gives a poll or information, tangible information showing that this race is tight, uncomfortably tight, basically tied, people on our side, we get mad. We want to shoot the messenger. Don't do that. We got to know the truth. I mean, I try and be honest with you here. The fact of the matter is there is a gender gap, but we're hearing now that the gender gap is basically identical as it was in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. Kamala Harris is getting the same female vote numbers at this point, the support in the polls as Hillary Clinton did. So this notion that this is going to be a blowout, I don't think is real. I know there's some fake polls out there because of Republicans putting out fake polls so that if Trump loses, they could say, "Oh, but the polls, show that he won." All of those shenanigans are still going on, and I'm not trying to push those aside or marginalize them in any way. But I think that we have a great launch with Kamala Harris, a very emotional summer when Joe Biden was being pushed out, and the Harris campaign has been brilliant. But we always knew, those of us who do this always knew that this was going to get tight at the end. So our exuberance was legitimate. And she had a fantastic vice presidential pick and a fantastic launch and a fantastic summer. But that was always going to close. And a big reason for that, of course, is the media, plus general tribalism. There are certain people that are going to vote Republican no matter what. And that's something that I think political scientists will be studying for years to come, why we have this convicted felon, this rapist, this idiot who's clearly got dementia, who's everybody knows he's committed treason. Nobody believes that he has those top secret documents sitting in his bathroom in Mar-a-Lago, in the pool room and other places, just because, to be nostalgic. He's selling them, and we know it. There's too many instances that point to him being a traitor, and people have died as a result of Trump. I don't think there's any question about that. I really don't. And yet, is the media not reporting it? Of course they're not. Media wants clicks and ratings. That's how it's always been. That's how it's always going to be. So I want to show you something here, talk about the economy a little bit. People say that the economy is the most important issue. All right. So the economy ranks as the most important of 22 issues. This is the Gallup poll that U.S. registered voters say will influence their choice of president. It is the only issue in which a majority of voters, 52%, say the candidates' positions on it are extremely important. Now, 38% say it's very important. All right. But here's the thing. Kamala Harris's economic agenda polls better than Trump's. So you think that would be good, right? But here's the thing. Voters view Donald Trump as better able than Kamala Harris to handle the economy, 54% versus 45%. This loser, this guy who bankrupts, casinos, this criminal, this thief who can't even run a business. He inherited, hundreds of millions of dollars from his father and blew through it and had to go to his siblings and ask them to open their trust for him. This is what he did. The guy's a loser. He knows nothing about money except how to steal it, how to be a con man. And yet he has this image. You can't blame this just on The Apprentice. All right. Although they did a fine job of building up this joker as some kind of a great businessman. He's not. He's just not. So we've got the Dow blows past 43,000. Gas prices are below $3 in many places. Grocery prices keep declining. And yet we keep hearing how bad the economy is. All right. So voters believe the economy is bad. Is it because their own personal situation is bad? I mean, everybody would like it to be better, but why don't they know that the economy is better? Why are they not aware that the policies that they like are Kamala Harris's policies? Why are they not aware that it was Trump who tanked the economy? It was Trump who got us into the pandemic and couldn't get us out and lied to us. That while he was sending COVID tests over to Putin for Russia, instead of right here at home, while we had morgue trucks lined up in the streets of New York, Manhattan. Why don't voters know this? Why are we not talking about it every day? The media. The media has been the problem all along. Well, one of the problems all along. The economy is doing really, really well. We have record low unemployment in this administration, in the Biden-Harris administration. We had record high unemployment because of Trump. All right. Why don't voters know this? Now, you can't just write it off to the cult, although some of them you absolutely can't talk to. But there's enough voters out there that truly believe that the economy is horrible and headed in the right direction, even though the opposite is true. And the reason they believe this is the media. And it's not just Fox News. Don't ever expect Fox News to be news. They're not. And remember, I've spent a lot of time at all three of the cable nets and media for many decades here. So I'm telling you, it wasn't always that way. They were always biased, as were other networks. But now they out and out lie and withhold information and are a propaganda machine. They are a propaganda arm for Trump and Putin. Full stop. So the economy is the most important issue. It's not important to even to voters is the trans issue, but the right likes to bring that up and blame it on the left because they know that energizes their Christian nationalist base. So they keep bringing it up and trying to define the Democratic Party by the trans issue, even though it's not something that very many voters care about. The economy, they do. You know what comes in second, according to the Gallup poll. Of course, it's Gallup, so take it with a grain of salt if you want. But other polls pretty much back this up. Democracy. Saving democracy comes next. Now, that is what this campaign is all about. That is why there are so many people like me who left the Republican Party because of Trump, because we know what a threat he is to democracy, that we've seen him chip away at democracy, that we've seen the trouble we're in already, and it may be too late. It could be that Kamala Harris gets a vast majority of votes and wins the Electoral College, but there's so much cheating going on by Trump, by Elon Musk, by Putin, that it's impossible, by the people that have now had time to get really good at this and have infiltrated each of the states. It is shocking each time we find out the battles that we have to fight for democracy. And the media, when they're putting together their shows, we'll do a little of this, a little color commentary. Who grew the greatest pumpkin, biggest pumpkin in their county this year, that type of thing. That, by the way, is what your print media likes. Your local print media likes to focus on stuff like that rather than, the uncomfortable news that people don't want to read about. But if the economy is the number one issue that people care about, and if there is a perception that Donald Trump would be better for the economy than Kamala Harris, then we have to step on the gas on the issue of the economy a lot harder. We have to focus on that. Don't let yourself get drawn into these debates about trans issues. And I'm serious about that. Even if it's important to you, if you want Democrats to win this campaign, you have to look at the polls and look at the issues that are important to the vast majority of voters. And if there's a perception that is incorrect, and in this case about the economy, focus on that. I think one reason Kamala Harris doesn't get credit for her position on the economy, why Trump gets credit when we know what a loser he is, that he's a horrible businessman, is because we have leaned in very hard on other very important issues. And race and gender obviously are key to that. But got to take a cue from her, actually. She knows other people are fighting the battle for her. She's not going to talk about race or gender. She's not going to be drawn into that. She wants to be president for everybody. She doesn't want people to say, oh, she's smart for a woman, or, because she's a woman, she can't be good on the economy. And good and god darn well that that's what the case is here. I think that it's not just a historic perception that Republicans are better on the economy than Democrats, because people do favor her policies over Donald Trump's. I think it's a lot of sexism, a whole lot of sexism. And I think the media is more than happy to push that. So next time you're talking to a MAGA and you see them on Facebook and they're talking about the economy, I want you to give them the poll numbers that I just gave you and talk about that, because we have to make sure that Kamala Harris gets credit for this. We have to make sure that people understand that the economy is back and getting better. There are areas that we need to work on, but all the arrows are pointing in the right direction. In fact, here's something. Next time you see gas prices below $3, take out your phone, snap a picture of it, put it on social media, and tag me. Because you know what? If you tag me on Twitter, you know what I'll do? I'll retweet you. I'll make sure that goes everywhere and we start that conversation. So I just thought of that. And while you're at it, please follow me and subscribe to this YouTube page. Help me out there, because I do well if you subscribe to me, and send it to other people and ask them to subscribe as well. It's easy, it's one click, and it's free. So it's not going to hurt your own personal economy. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.